What the hell is happening with the Fast and Furious franchise? I mean, there's already 8 of these fucking movies, and not only that, there are 2 movies already confirmed before this 8th one is even released. It's like Hollywood knows that it doesn't matter how incredibly retarded each movie is. They know that no matter what, it's gonna make us money back and 10 times more. Now let's go back in time really quick. When the first Fast and Furious movie came out, it was a big hit. There's no doubting that. It made a lot of money. Kids and teenagers were jizzing their pants over the fast cars. Young teenage girls were jizzing their pants because of the hot guys like Paul Walker, rest in peace, and Vin Diesel. But even for me as a young teenager, I never cared for it. And that's not me just trying to be edgy and different. I sincerely never liked it. It always seemed like a lazily thought out cash grab from Hollywood that appealed to casual audiences. And as these sequels keep consistently being made, all that seems more apparent than ever. It always seemed to me that the only dudes who really genuinely get excited over the Fast and Furious movies are the people that when you ask them, why do you like it? They always say, oh yeah, I like them movies because I get to see them cars go real fast, and when they go vroom vroom. And I get to see close-ups of chicks' asses and tight cut-off jeans, and there's cars parachuting off of airplanes, and there's explosions, and yeah.
I love this part! This part! Oh, feel the motor running up my legs.
And most of the time, when you ask a chick why she likes these Fast and Furious movies, they're always like, oh my god, I want to see the Fast and Furious movies because, Vin Diesel is so hot, and, Paul Walker is hot, rest in peace. And, The Rock is also hot, and he's, my husband, and he has such big muscles. Now, I know this sounds harsh, and you may think that I'm in over my head, and I'm being too judgmental and cynical. But shit, don't just take my word for it. Look at what the critics had to think about the Fast and Furious franchise. The first one has a 53% approval rating, which sure isn't that terrible. But you would think that a franchise that's got 10 movies made and confirmed would have had better critical reception at its base. Too Fast, Too Furious, the sequel, has an even worse approval rating at 36% and an audience rating at 50%. So hell, even audiences didn't even like this film that much, despite it being so iconic. Tokyo Drift has a 37%, and the 4th movie just called Fast and Furious has goddamn 28%. I don't even know why they call the 4th film just plain old Fast and Furious. How does that name even indicate a new or 4th installment? They just took out the word "the" out of the original title and bam, you got yourself a sequel somehow. I don't know, I still don't fucking get it. I probably don't get it because it doesn't make any fucking sense. But then, wait, something different happened when the 5th movie came out. Look at this. Look at this, a 77% approval rating by critics. That's a giant leap from the previous film at 28%. And all of the Fast sequels past Fast 5 have even higher critical receptions. So, what the hell happened? I saw Fast 5 and all the others, and personally, it's just as shitty as the one before it. To me, there is nothing about these Fast and Furious sequels that seems certified fresh-worthy. I think 2 important things happened here. I think most critics would say that the Fast and Furious franchise just gave up on trying to take itself seriously. They said, you know what? Instead of trying to be serious, let's just downgrade ourselves to mindless B-grade movie sludge. But I actually would partially disagree on this. Though it may take itself less seriously than before, it doesn't advertise itself as pure B-movie material. And there's millions of casual viewers who love this franchise and don't see it that way at all. And secondly, it takes its themes regarding family and friendship incredibly seriously, and it's so fucking corny. Every single time that they mention something about family in these Fast and Furious movies, I wish I was choking on my popcorn so I have a reason to get the fuck out of the theater. Critics just decided to lower their standards because of this, I believe. They're thinking, oh well, it focuses more on the popcorn fun of it all, instead of actually putting time into, character depth, genuine humor, and enrichful storytelling. So, therefore, I'm gonna grade it on an entirely different standard than before. But, why though? Why would you lower your standard of critique just because you supposedly think it's taking itself less seriously? Because I'm not even sold on that premise to begin with. I can see, someone grading a movie like a Machete on a different standard because it's purposely awful and focuses on pure entertainment value. And its purposeful shittiness contributes to the entertainment value that the movie gives you. Robert Rodriguez films in general are perfect examples of films that are fully aware of their place and what they are. But I'm not even remotely sold that the Fast and Furious movies are in the same B-grade boat. There's no real indication that it takes itself less seriously, except for the fact that it just became a little bit more mindless and upped the ante with its action and stunts. Now, some people would just say, look man, it's just not your thing. If you're not into perilous action involving fast-moving automobiles, then you're just not gonna like it no matter what. Oh yeah? Well, if that's the case, then how come Mad Max Fury Road is one of my favorite action movies ever? The entire film is really one giant car chase sequence across an apocalyptic desert. You know why I like it? Because it's incredibly well thought out and creative on all aspects of filmmaking. It has an established world filled with a variety of characters that have their own motives and moral dilemmas. The character themes are conveyed through visual storytelling and subtle dialogue. It doesn't just spell it out for you lazily and cheesily like the Fast and Furious franchise does. And the action in Mad Max is incredibly well done, down to the film editing, sound mixing, props, stun work, etc. When I'm watching Mad Max, I don't have to turn my brain off and suspend all disbelief in order to get sucked in and feel its suspense. But with the Fast and Furious, I have to do that, and it still doesn't work for me because it's so hard to take anything going on in the film seriously. Even the action is incredibly predictable and unbelievable. And I know most people would say, it's just a movie, man, of course it's going to be unrealistic. Yeah, sure, but I shouldn't have to turn off the logical part of my brain for 2 hours in order to enjoy it. There should be at least some attempt at realism and believability, or else the movie didn't even try. The humor in the Fast and Furious is filled with corny Hollywood cheese and fails. Its attempt at themes at family and friendship are executed in a laughable way while trying to be serious. It's not really a B-grade movie because the biggest fans of the franchise don't even praise it in the standard of the B-grade movies. At least the fans of Machete are well aware of its purposeful retardation. But the fans of the Fast and Furious franchise don't even see it that way. From what I've heard, they sincerely and genuinely believe that these are great quality films. But this isn't really about the casual audience members. Casual audiences will always like hollow action explosion sauce, and that's okay. People have every right to be entertained by their own movie preference. This is more of an intervention with the critics, the people who are supposed to hold more knowledge regarding film than the average person. What is it about these new Fast and Furious installments that changed your minds into thinking that these movies are worthy of recommendation? Is it really because y'all think it takes itself less seriously? Because I don't see that to be the case. Is it because you believe that the stunt work and action is much more impressive and enticing than before? Because I'm not sold on that either. Is there something that I'm missing? Am I not seeing something clearly here? Because I saw the trailer for the new Fast and Furious movie and it's called The Fate of the Furious. Ugh. Just the title alone makes me cringe. I mean, why is it even called The Fate of the Furious? I mean, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a clever way to incorporate the number 8 into the title. But with a title like The Fate of the Furious, it insinuates that it's the last movie in the franchise, which is highly misleading and false considering there's 2 more sequels already confirmed. Yeah, I guess it's just another trendy way to market the movie and get people hyped up and into the theater seats. But anyway, I saw the trailer for the new movie and it looks fucking horrendous. Seriously, it looks like it's on track to being one of the worst in the franchise, and that's really hard to do. So I guess if it does end up being the worst, that's an accomplishment of some kind. But I'm sure both critics and audiences are gonna love the movie anyway. But I guess that's really all I gotta say about the Fast and Furious. I know that this is slightly different from my previous videos, but sometimes there's just things going on in the film industry that totally piss me off and I just gotta rant about it, so. I'm sure I just pissed a lot of people off, but I'm sure a lot of people also agree with most of what I had to say. But I want to hear what everybody has to say, both casuals and critics. Am I totally wrong in missing the mark on this? Am I not understanding something about the franchise? Or do you more or less agree with the opinions that I hold? Thanks to everybody who watched this video and heard me rant about a shitty franchise that I just wish would end. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Misfit Pawn channel to be updated on more film-related content.